Fighting. You say fight, I say discuss. Ting. You know,
You say fight, I say disgust.
Hi.
Hello. Ooh, I'm so excited.
Ooh. It's going to be a crazy, crazy fun-filled week.
Yeah.
Oh,
man, there's so many comics this week. Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us, Thursday Warriors.
Right. It's another fun week. It's another fun podcast.
Yes, it is.
We are excited. Oh, did the winner of the gift card ever get in touch with you, Tim?
Did not. So I'm going to try again. And then if I don't hear back in a week, then we might just have to pick another. So
sure.
So we'll see how it goes. But
sure. So, cool. Speaking of in another week, just so you guys know, next week's guest will be the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, the guy who signs all of our paychecks digitally, Todd McDivitt.
Todd.
The Todd. Not the Todd from Scrubs. That would be way cooler.
Oh my god.
Not gonna lie.
That would be
Rob
awesome.
Macchio would be super cool. Fives, all the fives.
Zoom call, high five.
But I went and had some drinks with him last night, and he was like, I can still do that from my house, right? Like, I don't need to go anywhere. And I'm like, oh my god. I so can't wait for you to fumble with technology. This will be great. But no, seriously, he's a lot of fun. He wants to tell the story of how he bought Stanley Media Group out.
Yeah.
When they were in bankruptcy. So make sure you come and check that out next week. And then
which resulted in his nickname, right?
Yes. The Titanic
Without giving
Todd.
Too much away. Yep. Titanic Todd's nickname came out of that purchase.
Yep. Well, it's a good time. If you go to ndcomics.com, you can read the full quote from Stan. And then I'm sure I'll make fun of his shrine to both himself and Stan Lee that's in his living room. And I'm not even kidding. If I can somehow get over there beforehand just to take a picture of it, it's like a full-on like 8x10 of him and the picture of him and Stan.
Yeah.
And then there's like just candles in front of it. And I'm just like, I don't know. Anyway, also next weekend is Cranberry's anniversary sale. Make sure you go up there and check that out. That'll be Saturday only.
Check it out.
I just replaced a shit ton of dollar books up there. So go check out the dollar books. Good times.
Because they'll be 50 cents.
That is true. They will be 50 cents. And there'll be a whole bunch of other stuff on sale too.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Do we have any non-super spoilery topics that we can talk about before we get into comics as like a warm-up like we did last week? Well, I guess we can talk a little bit about the con. If you guys didn't see the email or saw social media, we are bringing the Zombie Tramp creator to the city of zombies, the zombie capital of the world, as you will.
Yes.
Dan Mendoza, who's is a fun buddy of mine, and I actually was going through some stuff, and this isn't Dan. This is another girl who did a Zombie Tramp cover, but I got that at New York Comic Con. I totally forgot about it, and nice. I just need a begging board, and I'm gonna hang it on the wall. So, but Dan's coming. He's a great guy. Also Nightmare Lynch, who writes stuff for his Still Ill Princess comics, is coming as well, and his cohort in crime, who does tons of work with them. They're best friends. Pretty sure they live like a mile from each other now. Bill McKay is also coming back, so it'll be a good time to check out. And we have some other guys still up the pike. Hopefully more on that in the next week or two. I have some tricks up the sleeve, and they're gonna be here. It's gonna be awesome. So I guess now we'll talk comics. Yeah. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
Well, let's see. If I go first, you go last, and you're very excited for Saga. Are you doing Saga as your last book?
Yes, that's my last book.
So I'll go first.
Oh,
that way you can finish with the grand.
I can finish.
Yes.
I mean, wait.
So let's go with a quick one.
Heyo.
Superman and Robin special. Tomasi wrote this. And it was just a one shot to get these guys back together. It says for one last time. I'm hoping it's not for one last time, because anytime these guys are together in a book, it's a lot of fun. Even though I would prefer Jonathan to be 10 again instead of 18. But essentially what's happening in this book is way back into Massey's run, Jonathan was working on an experiment for school that involved time. And they had this temporal cube, almost looked like the cosmic cube. And Superman had stored it after all of that. He had stored it at the Fortress of Solitude. It is now acting up, and something had come through, and Damian knew about it because he bugged Superman's house, because of course he did. So when he heard the crystal going off in the house, Jonathan's like, how do you even know about this? And he had to tell him that he bugged the house. And he's like, you're not normal. You're just not a normal kid. So
no, he's not.
So he's like, all right, we got to go to the fortress and take care of this. And they go outside, and Damian's got on the house, on the Kent's house, just the giant black Batman mech suit. And he's like, did you fly here in this? He's like, yeah. He's like, did you tell your dad? He's like, no. So he's like, that way I can fly with you, because I am not riding on your back or getting carried around like a sack of potatoes. I'm just not. So they're flying to the Fortress of Solitude. And when they get there, there's a lot of destruction. And what they find is this creature that had come through and was essentially giving birth. It started out small, and during the fight, the creature gets larger and larger and larger, and that's as it gets closer to giving birth. And as they're fighting, they hear something back where the gate was opened up, and there's Nazis that are coming through. So they decide to put back suits on and beat the crap out of a bunch of Nazis, because they're all coming from the island that the losers are on. And I don't know much about the losers, but I guess they live on an island that's similar to like the Savage Land, that's kind of like trapped in time. You can tell me if I'm wrong about that or not. I don't know. So they beat the crap out of Nazis. They go over, they save the lady, or the creature who just gave birth, and they're able to clean up the mess and stop anything else from coming through, and that's their adventure. There is one part that I thought was exceptionally funny and really gave me vibes of Super Sons, and that's when they're looking around and Robin sees the bottle city of Kandor, and he's like, what is this? This is a model. This is really cool. And Jonathan's like, this is not a model. This is like, this is a small city. There's people that are living in there right now. He goes, whoa, they must be really freaked out right now. Look it up. He's like, I am Damien, the sun god. And it was just a pretty funny moment. So overall, if you like the original Super Sun stuff, this was a good one shot and was a lot of fun. And I really wish they would do more stuff like this. There was advertisements for like 3 different Batman books in this. And it's just so frustrating to read good books like this and knowing that they just keep making more different Batman books. So,
well, there is a Batman movie coming soon, so
there is a Batman movie coming, and they're
the
doing,
only thing that I was gonna say, the only thing that disappoints me about this book is that Gleason wasn't with it. This is the first time in like what 4 Super Sons deals that he was not with them, and that was just a little bit of a bummer to me.
I feel like they picked a guy who I don't remember his name, but who very similar in style, obviously not as good as Gleason, but did some weird things. Robin's mask didn't really look like a mask. It almost looked like painted on Spider-Man eyes because they were really big and tall. And it was just very weird. There's weird. A really nice cardstock cover by Jorge Jimenez on this issue also. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
All right. My first book. I will preface this week by saying, whoops, not my first book. That's my first book. My preface by saying I liked all 3 books this week. Which is pretty good. I still have to catch up on today's episode, actually. So this is by Garth Ennis and Gary Brown, and it reads very Garth Ennis. Like, there are moments in this book where I'm reading it and I'm hearing it in John Cena's voice, and then there are moments where I'm reading it and I'm feeling what's his name who plays Billy Butcher. Crap. You know who I'm talking about. Anyway. So this book starts out with Peacemaker and a psychiatrist sitting at a basically at a giant gravesite, and she starts kind of talking to him about his past, and it's a little bit different than the show. Like, this is like his stepmom and dad, like they kill themselves. They kill his 2 twin siblings, and they put the baby in the microwave. Yeah, fun times.
Like, they put an actual baby in the microwave.
Yeah, like you see an exploded baby on the end from like, you're looking from the outside of the microwave and you're seeing exploded baby behind his head. And then it talks about how he like got picked up by like 2 crazy robbers, and that, you know, he escaped from them, and he, you know, joined the armed forces and all the special forces and Delta Force and all this stuff. And she then starts describing Peacemaker as the reason he is called that is because he gives people peace by killing him, so that they are now at peace, right? So it was a very cool way to get to that. It was just very Garth Ennis. Like, if you read this book and you're like, this is Garth Ennis, like within 30 seconds, it's Garth Ennis. So
does that gun have a peace dove on it?
It does not. No dove of peace. No dove of peace. What? So
let's see. What do I got next? I will go with this. I'll go with that. That is really small. I don't know why that is small.
Yes, Carl Urban. Thank you, Dan.
There we go. Okay. Better.
Boom.
Devil's Reign 3. So it's in full gear now. There's been a couple minis that have come out that are tie-ins. The superheroes are on the run for sure, and this opens up with Ben Reilly in cuffs at a police station. He just got the crap beat out of him, and they're interrogating him, and he's being very Peter Parker like in his responses, very witty and smart ass like. And then the Thing and Human Torch come up, and they're like, hey, heads up, we're taking our buddy with us. So We know you guys are just doing your job, but we're taking him. So they steal him, they get him out. It kind of cuts back to Fisk, and he's talking with Purple Man, Kilgrave, and telling him, he's like, I know something happened. He's like, I know that I know who Daredevil is. He's like, but I can't remember, and I feel like it was because of you. And he goes, it wasn't because of me. He's like, because I feel like I know too, and I feel like my powers are being used against me. And the only thing I can think of is my children. So they kind of have broken that open and solved the fact that his children, the Purple Man's children, are the ones that caused everybody to forget who Daredevil was. I will say, I'm really hoping that at the end of this, we don't get a situation where everybody remembers who Daredevil is again. I'd like for them to be able to solve this in a way that he could still keep his identity secret, because I don't know. I don't want to go down that road again. It feels like it's been done too many times. So hopefully they won't do that. It cuts to a scene where you see Luke Cage, and he's kind of got a rally going because he's going to run for mayor. We talked about that with the second issue. The poll numbers for him aren't coming back great. And while they're thinking about it, Jessica Jones stops, and she said she had a weird feeling. And it was at that moment she said that it was Kilgrave. And she's like, I know this feeling. This guy's been in my head before. If anybody's going to know, it's me. And we have to do something, because if he's involved, then that's why you don't have a chance. That's why your poll numbers are down. So at that point, they realize, okay, Fisk isn't winning by paying people off or anything like that. He's abusing the people and essentially attacking them of New York City. So they feel like now they have like a reasonable cause to go and just like snag him from his house, beat the shit out of him, and take him and throw him on an island somewhere. So they go to do that. And their plans get foiled a little bit because Dr. Octopus shows up with his superior team that has the superior Wolverine, which is found out that these are all versions of Otto Octavius that have inhabited the bodies of these heroes in the worlds they were in. So just like, I guess, think of it this way. Yeah. So remember when he was in Peter Parker's body?
Yeah.
It's like that. So yeah, Otto from one world took over Wolverine's body.
Okay, so like instead of Spider-Man coming and foiling the thing, in which caused the mind shift, it would have been like Wolverine did it, and then somebody else did it.
Yeah. So it was Wolverine, Hulk, and Ghost Rider, and it's really cool because they all have like arms that match what their powers or their abilities are. So Hulk has like 4 extra smashing arms. Ghost Rider has arms that come off that are made of flame chains, and Wolverine has adamantium like claw arms that come out of his back.
Smoking chains, bro. Smoking chains.
Yeah,
kids love
so they get in a fight with them, and things kind of go a little south. And there's some fun stuff that happens, but overall, this is finally, it's starting to pick up. I'm really excited to see where this goes with the next issue, because this felt like what the second issue probably should have been. But they took a little bit of time to kind of like explain more things and drag it out a little bit. Maybe to get an extra issue. I don't know if it was to help with the artist or what, but this was a much better episode or issue, not episode.
Well, I mean, it is a pretty good episode so far. Let's try not to fuck this up. Yeah. So, awesome. All right, my second book, Mary Jane and Black Cat. If you couldn't tell by my accidental push of that button earlier. So this book is awesome. So it starts off with Felicia going into the hospital to see a super beat up Peter Parker. and she comes in, and Parker Robbins is there with a gun to MJ, and it's like, like, something happened to my hood. You're the best thief in the world. I need you to get it back to me, or I'm gonna put a bullet in this dude's head. Come sun up. And she's like, okay, but I need the girl. And Mary Jane looks at her, and she's like, she's part of my crew. I need to take her with me. Blah blah blah. So then Mary Jane like yells at Parker and is like, "Don't you put a gun at him? Because if you put a gun at him, he'll like later it's revealed that she doesn't want the gun to be pointed at him because then his spider sense would go off and all kinds of shit would be weird." So anyway, so they are trying to track down the path of this demonic duffel bag that ate the Hood's hood. So the first person they go to is Count Nefarious. And he's at movie night by himself in a on top of a building, and Felicia tries to get information from him, and he's like, "No, that's dumb. I'm not going to do it unless you pay me." And then Mary Jane shows up, and he's like, "Oh, is that Mary Jane Watson? What?" So so then they have a conversation, and they figure out that there's a couple other guys they got to go to, and it shows like a cool little montage page of them like trying to solicit from all these other bad guys, including Armadillo, which is awesome because Armadillo doesn't get a lot of love.
Armadillo. Sorry.
Armadillo. But then they realize the last person they got to see is Tombstone. So what they do is, because Tombstone is so pissed off at Black Cat for something, they basically have Mary Jane dressed like Black Cat, bust in there, and have this whole conversation with him and be like, "Oh, I got what I needed and leave," and jumps back out the window. And while that's all happening, actual Black Cat is stealing the backpack that they need. So, they take it to the hospital, and he's like, "Take that off, give me that back," blah blah blah. Parker gets his hood back, some crazy shit happens. And then two of my favorite things happen. The first part is that Peter wakes up and they're both standing there in Black Cat's outfits. And he just said, "Oh, okay, it's this dream again. Be gentle, please." And then it cuts to the girls like sitting on a top of a building, like having coffee. And there's this line that Black Cat says, it's like, "I mean, I wasn't sure if your dump truck ass would fit into one of my suits, but hey, we made it work." And I was just like, whoa.
Wow.
And then they talk about how Parker likes the bad girls because Felicia was the bad girl after Mary Jane became the good girl. But Mary Jane was the original bad girl because of Gwen Stacy being the girl. And they all talk about how each other is actually perfect and how they're all special to each other and stuff. It's very cool. And this is a one shot, but I thought it was very cool to read and see that kind of thing. I know this kind of picks up, I think, in Amazing though.
Yeah.
So also something really cool is hold on, let me get to a bigger screen. Boom. A giant Jim Rugg ad.
Wait, don't show it. Don't show it. Hold on.
What?
I got something. I got you. I didn't even know you were going to do that. Ready?
Oh, really? Yeah.
I had no clue you were going to do that, and I got these ready. So I wanted to show. Like you, I saw the cover, and as an ad, and I'm like, okay, we got to show these covers now because there's some pretty sick covers for this. So
yeah, there are. By the way, might as well take you needed to pre-order this really last week to guarantee it, but I guarantee we ordered some extra. But be gentle.
Yes. But I mean, there's some you have this cover. I forget who this was, Martin. But it's a pretty nice cover also. But I mean, look at this.
Yeah,
I mean,
Ed's
this is
cover.
that's
Oh,
Ed doing the cover. I feel
yep.
like we probably should have ordered like 400 of these because I feel like that's the one that's going to sell the most. Not that the Jim Rugg one is bad because I really like it and it's got the halftone in there. I think it
Yeah.
looks nice, but this is this is awesome.
What's the Momoka one look like? Do you have that one too?
Yep.
Yep, there you go.
So,
Eh,
I mean, it's a Momoko cover. It's nice, but I don't think it captures what this series is probably going to be like as much as
yeah,
this, and this. So,
yeah,
um, but
yeah.
yeah, I didn't even know you were going to show those. It's like I had those all ready to go. So,
Yeah.
um,
So, but seriously, if you guys want it, make sure you talk to your shop now so that we can make sure to allocate one to you
yep,
pre-order because they're already on. FOC was last week,
yeah.
so we'll
It
try
was
to do
kind of
what we
like a
can for you.
weird hidden situation. Like, didn't they push it early or something? There was some note that we
I
got
don't
an
think
email
so.
or something. I remember an email that came through said something about a special circumstances, like, oh, hey, by the way, this is normally you have to have this by this date, but
Oh, you know what? I bet it's because it's being printed big, like bigger. Oh no, never
oh,
mind. No, it's not. The first cut. Well, maybe it is. I can't
you think
remember.
are they?
I swear
Is there more
Jim
than one
told me something
issue?
about it. There's 2 issues.
Okay, so it should be regular size, and then it should be prestige or treasury size for the
The
trade.
trade, yeah.
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 Um,
I think that's what Jim said. He said it's going to be basically the same as the Fantastic Four, where it was 2 issues and then a trade. So,
all right, so here's the next book. My last book is
your last
uh,
book.
10 Deaths of Wolverine. I
Fitting
did,
that the last book is deaths. Just
yes,
kidding.
I did the 10 lives last week. I love that there's definitely something going on here with um, like the Warlock, like the Phalanx technology kind of covering Wolverine. And if you like covers, there was plenty of covers this week, including my favorite one by Juan Cabal. I thought this was a
It's awesome.
freaking awesome cover. And I love seeing these two together. So I really wish I could get a series back with both of them. Um, but
Mm-hmm.
this is this was weird because the first issue was about Wolverine having to go back in time and stop seemingly um, Omega Red from killing Professor X. This one opens up where Inferno ended, which was Moira had her hand cut off. She's now a human, and they opened up a gate, and she's on the run from Mystique. Um, so she's on the run from Mystique. As I guess she went through and where she wanted to go was Scotland. So she's in Scotland, and she runs back to where she was born. Um, and she starts to cough. She thinks she has a cold, and some blood comes out, and she's a little concerned. She goes to the doctor in New York, which is Jane Foster. She called in, I guess, like a favor. Hey, I need you to help me figure out what's going on. And they confirm she has stage 4 cancer. Um, so she's like, well, get me some Krakoan medicine. She's like, I need it. And they're like, well, there's a list for that. We can't just give you the medicine. And there's issues with distribution right now, which is one of the things that was going on in Marauders. So um, at that moment, Jane Foster leaves and a nurse comes in to help. And the nurse is obviously Mystique because, of course, it is.
Right.
And they get in a little fight. And then Jane Foster finds out what's happening. Boom, comes in. Valkyrie. She's like, go, I got this. Just run, get as far away as you can. And I will give you as much time as I can. Um, which is interesting because she came to her to get more time, to get a cure, and couldn't give it to her. But in a different sense, she's giving her more time, even though she's probably not going to be able to help her cure the cancer. Um, when you go back to Krakoa, Black Tom is sensing some vibrations in Krakoa, and he's like, "This is something normal. This happens all the time because it's always changing and growing." He's like, "But something weird's going on." So he goes outside the pub, and he finds this giant egg, and he's like, "What the hell's going on with this egg?" And you see the egg crack open, and then you see those like phalanx kind of claws come out and just murder Black Tom. And it turns out this is what came out of the egg. There's no explanation for it. Jean and Professor are currently standing where they were in the previous issue, which was over Wolverine with the Cerebro helmets on, helping him back in time when this dude busts out and comes after them. And they're like, nobody knows what's going on. And that's where it ends. So both of the first issues kind of ended in some mystery, and I'm gonna go back and read them because or keep reading them because I need to know what the hell's going on. So,
well, I mean, I think the obvious thing is that the Wolverine in the past, something happens to him on an alternate end, and that's actually Wolverine in the egg coming back to be like, what the hell? So, all right.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Sounds good though. So, all right. So, bum bum bum. It's back. It's
3 years,
back.
almost 3 years.
Welcome back, Carter. I mean, wait. Welcome back, Saga.
Me.
I will say this book is huge, and it's $2.99. Like if this were Marvel, they would have been like fucking $9.99 on this bitch. But I think we got a double-sized issue for $2.99 as an apology from Image. So anyway, this picks up 3 years after the last issues, because that's where Marco died. And we see Hazel like running, becoming like a street thief type person. She runs into some of the guards. A cool fight ensues. So people think she's a thief, but they also don't know that she's half Moony, half regular planet native. I don't remember what the other designation is. But we actually get to see her fly for the first time, which is awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
I love that her watch just says late and safe on it. So there's gratuitous boobs because Elena is attempting to sell formula. It wouldn't be a Saga book without boobs and other things, which I'll get to in a minute. So you find out that's Elena. She has just all blonde hair, and that's actually her on the left there with like the cutoff shirt.
Yeah.
The other guy is Bombazine, and he's just kind of like their like business partner, I guess would be the best term. So they have a little bit of a run-in with the law because they're selling stuff. We catch up on the Prince Robots kid, which is also kind of cool. What do they call? What the hell's his name? Squire. Squire's his name, and we find out that he actually hasn't said anything since they basically kind of got him. We find out that they, because of what happened, they got to bounce, so they get out of their way, and then we see a ship, and it comes up to a planet, and they're like, "What the hell is this?" And the last panel says, "They call me the Will," and we see the Will with Marco's shield, comes back in, runs into Gwendolyn, who has Lion Cat. There is some awesome Lion Cat jokes that kick in. She's pumped because Marco's dead. and it's like super turning her on. So, she strips naked, gets right on him. Like there is shaft in this episode or this issue.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. More boobs, some butts, and then it just kind of cuts to the kids jamming out to a song, and you realize that the ship is being boarded, or they're being very closely followed by a giant pirate ship that looks amazing because it's basically a giant floating skull. And in doing so, they find out that they're actually trying to make ends meet by being smugglers, drug smugglers. So that's pretty much it. But it was so good, man. Like, it went fast. It did not read like that big of a book, and it picks up right where the other one left off. It was very well done. Very, very well done.
I can tell you, as someone who tried the first trade and wasn't a big fan of it, that I have no clue about anything that you just said.
Oh, really?
Yes, I know the people that
Okay.
read Saga will be like, "Whoa, this." But like, if you didn't read Saga, you're like, I have no clue what those words are that just came out of his mouth, other than boobs and shaft.
Okay,
but
so you see that shield? Whoops, shield that he's carrying right there.
Yeah. All
right, that's Marco's shield, and every time I see this fucking commercial for Taco Bell,
yeah,
I'm like, oh, it's Marco. Oh my god, it's Marco.
Yeah.
And I
because he even has the horns.
Yeah. Both of them have horns.
Yeah.
And I just was like, oh, that's really cute. And like, but no one who doesn't read Saga is gonna get this.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, it was very good, very, very good.
Awesome.
Make sure you go out and get it.
Glad it's back for the people that like it.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
The stores did stock up, so there are plenty to be found. So, let us know. But
and ask about the goodies, because if they ordered, like we ordered, the midnight launch party kit. So there's pins. There's a little bag of pins that has a pin for each of the characters. I shouldn't. There's pins. It's like a little pin. So there's a little pin for each of the characters. There's stickers, and then there's temporary tattoos and a bookmark. So make sure you ask, just in case that store ordered that kit. So
cool,
because it's all free. Saga swag.
It is true. Saga swag. I like it. So I'm just happy to have this book back. It's been so long, and like the letter in the back about why it took so long, and how like how he kept getting like giant hate mail from people to be like, where's my fucking book? It was pretty funny. So, anyway, so before we get into spoiler season of Boba Fett's, just a reminder, we're also having cosplay karaoke on the 10th of February, so we will not be having an episode that day because it's a Thursday. Instead, you should all come down to the Hard Rock Cafe in Station Square at around the same time and watch. It's duets because it's right before Valentine's Day. So it's teams of 2. It will be very excellent, I promise.
Sweet.
Okay.
It's gonna be fun.
Now are we ready to talk spoiler stuff?
If you have not watched the Book of Boba Fett Season 1, Episode 5, this is your chance to get out of the room so you're not spoiled, because there is a lot to unpack with this amazing episode. So you have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get out. Here we go. Let's talk about it. Best episode of this season. Best episode.
The only reason I will say that is because I enjoyed Mandalorian more, and it was basically a Mandalorian episode, but I was so used to how the Mandalorian was going that this is shot Bryce Dallas Howard shot this one, and she did a lot of the regular Mandalorian stuff.
Yeah,
so
she did that first season. There was that ATST episode.
Yeah.
It like the farm with the people under the like that had like the water farm or whatever. Yeah, she did that episode, which was a fantastic episode.
Yeah, I know she did one for the second season too. But anyway, this episode was also written by Jon Favreau, and almost all these episodes have been written by Jon Favreau. So it's not the writing; it may just be questionably some of the directorial picks that we've seen in the first couple episodes, in my opinion.
I would agree with that a little bit, but also I think there is a problem story-wise, or at least character-wise, because Mando feels like the Boba Fett that we wanted, and they had, he didn't exist, and they bring him in and they're like, here's his character, he's Mandalorian, and we all fall in love with him and he's awesome. And then they take this character that does exist and they bring him back, and they literally have a clean slate to do whatever they want, and they can't copy Mandalorian, so they try to reinvent him in a different way, and it sucked. He's just not, he doesn't feel like Boba Fett. And I feel like that's the thing that I like, kind of like about Mandalorian.
So I don't have a lot invested in Boba Fett because I never really cared for the character anyway. So for me, most of it was the first three movies, or the second and third movie, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, how are we so invested in this dude that's badass when really all he did was followed a bunch of people and then had to have the Empire actually arrest them, then took credit for it, took it to Jabba, and then just kind of hung out, was in wrong place, wrong time when he got kicked in the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah, and it was like, wasn't it a blind guy that knocked him in the pit too? I believe it was a blind guy that knocked him in the pit. So it's like,
Luke hits
congratulations.
Luke hits his jetpack, and then the blind guy like kicks him in. The guy whose eyes are tight. It might actually been Luke with his eyes blindfolded. I don't know. I don't remember. It's been a while since I watched.
I have to go back and look. But
anyway,
but I agree with you. I thought like what you said.
I like which is why I'm enjoying it. I'm not like super loving it, but I'm enjoying it. Like I don't hate it. I'm having a good time. I'm continually watching it. But I like that this episode kind of did what the latter episodes of season 2 did when they brought Boba in, and they're like, now they're just kind of going to cross paths again, and it's going to pass it back off to Mando. Because there's only one more episode of Book of Boba Fett, right?
There's 2. I found out.
2 more. 2.
I thought there was only 1 more also, but I was told there was 2. I'm going to show you something that I don't think that Bryce Dallas Howard would have. It was Han that made the thing. So he could. Yeah, because he couldn't see. That's right.
Oh, right.
Because he had just been.
He was blind.
He just was thawed. Yeah.
Decarbonated. So, yeah.
Let's talk about this scene right here. It's a little small. We'll zoom in. Okay. This is the scene with the Power Rangers riding around on their bikes, right? And let me get my markup tool here, and right here is an unfinished set piece top in the shot. This is all in here is supposed to be covered up. That is plywood and a hollow set piece. And I want to know how a show that costs $15 million an episode lets that happen. My only thing that I can think is because it sucks.
Well, no, you just have who directed that episode? Do you know?
I don't know. Whoever they are, they need fired.
Because was that 2 episodes ago or 3 episodes ago?
That was the 3rd episode. Yeah. So you look that up. While you're looking that up, I'm going to bring a picture to show one of my favorite little, I guess, cameos or Easter eggs of the episode.
Robert Rodriguez directed that episode.
Of course. And we got this guy, BD1, which he's a BD unit. Maybe he's not BD1. I'm hoping that he is. I thought it was cool to see that droid in this episode. And if you're not familiar with him, he is from Star Wars Jedi: The Fallen Order or the Fallen Jedi video game.
Cool.
And he is Cal Kestis' sidekick, who has red hair, similar to the lady that's the mechanic. Slightly, and I'm like,
funny.
uh-oh, is that his mom? Because that's the same robot. But there was a guy in a t-shirt and a boom mic in Mando. Shut up, Dan. We're talking about how bad Boba is. That guy was supposed to be there. He was boom mic man. Okay. So anyway,
that wasn't a boom mic. That was a rifle, right?
Yeah. But there were some other cool Easter eggs.
I think
in this episode.
I think people wouldn't have actually noticed that if they weren't so obsessed with the bikes being colored. If the bikes,
and I think when you don't like an episode, you do the thing where it's like you search for reasons for it to be bad, more reasons. You pick it apart,
just make
every
it
little
worse
thing.
Because you're you're a sadist.
But it's interesting that the best episode of the season of Boba Fett didn't even have him in it. He wasn't in it at all.
Like I said,
and
I think it
easily.
I really felt that it was just because it's more of what we had known with the Mandalorian TV show. And like I said, I think people want that fucking Grogu and they want to see this new lore. They don't really care about like the old guys stuff. And I think that's why.
But they also want to see laser swords.
Well, it's
Star Wars.
They're like, this is a story I'm familiar with that I've just been watching for 2 years. That's why. So
they had the dark saber was in this, and so it opened up with Mando going to cash in on a bounty, and he does his line from the first episode: "I can take you in warm, or I can take you in cold." Which was kind of like, ooh, I remember that. That was fun. And we got a little bit graphic there in that scene in that slaughterhouse freezer where he cut that dude's head off. He sliced him in half and then took his head for the bounty. And that was a little more graphic than what we've seen on a Disney Plus show so far, which, bodes well for what we'll probably see in Moon Knight. That they're kind of easing us into that the Disney audience, but then he goes back and he's I forget what the armorer her name is, but I call her the armorer.
Everyone does, so it's fine.
Yeah. So he goes back to her. She sees the wound. He's getting healed. It comes up about the darksaber, and then Paz Vizsla's helping out, and then he comes forward and basically is like, you don't deserve that blade, and challenges him to it and fights and loses. And then she says, have you taken off your helmet? No. Has anybody seen your face? No. And Mando can't answer that with a no, and she's like, then you're not one of us. So I think that puts him in an interesting spot for the evolution of his character, because is he going to work to try to, she said that the only way you could do that would be to go into the underwater caves on Mandalore, but they've been all just like caved in. So it'll be interesting. Does he accept that fate that he is no longer a Mandalorian and starts to evolve into this new character? Or does he go back and work to fight for this honor because that's what he knows? I think that's the big twist for him. But it's also this episode was, like I said, like how they brought in Boba, and then we were like, oh, maybe we'll get a Boba Fett show, or like it kind of set up the book of Boba Fett.
this is
Yeah, and I
setting up
definitely
season
think this is
3
a
for
setup too.
Mando. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's just they're gonna
ex-
they're gonna just cross paths the end. So
and that might explain why it's 7 episodes instead of 6, because this might be like a, hey, don't forget about Mandalorian show. So we'll tease you with this episode, and then we're just going to go right back to the 2 episodes for final episodes for Boba Fett.
which Mando will be in though. So
I don't know, because here's what I'm wondering. He said he had to go off and take care of things before he could help, right?
oh, right.
So what I'm thinking is he goes off, he's going to take care of things. Maybe he shows up towards the end. He's already taken care of those things. We never get to see them. And then season 3 of Mando comes out, and then that's where we get to see whatever it was he took care of.
Yeah.
But there's going to be some people showing up. There was little Terminator hints in there in this episode, which kind of makes me feel like Valance might show up, the bounty hunter from the original Marvel comics, and now he's real big in the bounty hunter comic because he's half cyborgish. So it might get him. There's some rumors about Cad Bane possibly showing up, even though he died in Bad Batch, but I don't know what the exact timeline is for this episode to Bad Batch. So I don't know if it's been laid out or not. So it'll be really interesting to see what they bring in, and hopefully some of those other characters can help carry the show a little better. Or maybe we'll get Dave Filoni or another big director to finish out the last 2 episodes, and maybe it'll feel like a better show at that point.
Right.
So, yep.
Yeah. I know a bunch of people that we all think Boba's fine. It's definitely, a personal preference thing. So,
yeah.
But don't. For those of you who are not 100% sold on it yet, I recommend you waiting to see how the next 2 episodes pan out and go from there. And then really make a judgment whether or not you want to watch another season of it, because there may not be another season coming anyway.
So. Yeah, I mean, it's Star Wars, so don't not watch it. You should give it a chance. Like I said, I didn't have high hopes for it going in, but I was going to give it a chance. I was going to give it a chance and watch it and try and have an open mind. I guess I'm just disappointed because I thought with Favreau and Filoni working on it, if anybody could change my mind on how I felt about Boba Fett, I felt like it was those guys. And they didn't really do anything to change my mind on him so far through 5 episodes. So It could change at the end of the 2 seasons, so we'll see.
Oh, shit. We almost forgot about our new section.
Oh, yeah.
So I will close tonight. Are we done talking about Boba? Because I think I am.
Yeah, we are. So
cool. I'm going to close our evening talk with a discussion about a very terrible character in my new how do I want to call it?
We haven't named this segment yet.
Segment?
We haven't named it yet. We need you guys. We need your help. This is the segment where we're going to talk at least once a month about just a real shitty character that exists in comics. Typically, I would say probably more on the superhero genre side, supervillain genre side, and of comics, because there's some real goofy ones in there. So think about it, come up with some names, message us some names in the comments. We'll see, what we can come up with, and we'll vote on the best one. But until then, segment X, let's do it. What do we got?
Okay. The first super low level character that I am going to discuss briefly is a man named Gordon Thomas, who goes by the alias Typeface.
Yes.
Are
we doing just one?
Just one.
Okay.
I've only prepared one.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah. So he was in the army. If you want to show pictures of him while I talk about it, it's fine.
Yes.
So he was in the army, and then he came back to to America and started working at the signage company that did like billboards and stuff. Well, then somebody bought it out. He then turned on corporate America, and he originally had an R on his face. I forget what it stood for. It was like retribution, I think. And later it was switched to an A for annihilation. And anytime he has like something he wants to super like forcefully talk about, he'll make one of the letters bigger on his face. He appeared in 2000. And I believe he was created by Paul Jenkins and somebody else. Mark Buckingham.
Yeah.
So Peter Parker, Spider-Man 23 is where he was at. And he was last seen being killed in Civil War front lines. So he lasted what, maybe 6-7 years at most.
He wages war against the gang called the Penny Ante Brigade, which sounds like a pasta gang. Like,
yes. Pasta.
The pasta gang.
But he had really no superpowers. He just had like he was just a really good hand-to-hand combat army guy. So yeah, that is your first installment. This is Typeface, who is absolutely terrible. I'm going to be doing these on the last Thursday of every month, by the way. So you have a whole month.
I have one I'm working on for. I have a couple I was looking at. So I'm hoping that I'll have a really good one for next month. But I just had a really cool idea. So we got Typeface, right? What if we come up with, after we get so many, maybe 10 and 20, right? 10 villains, 10 shitty heroes. Okay.
Oh god.
And then
all right. Okay.
We'll go over them. We'll go over the powers, and then we'll make a final final four bracket kind of situation where we'll randomly draw the names and pit villains and heroes against each other. And then every week we'll have a matchup and we'll talk about that matchup, and the people that are watching can vote on who the winner is.
Sure.
And then,
sure,
we'll figure out some kind of prize or something. People can come in, pick up their own brackets, take them home and fill them out, and then submit their brackets to us, for points or something. And we can find out who is the shittiest character of all time, as voted by everybody that watches.
Of these 20 shitty characters that we'll find for this year.
Yes. Yeah. This year's who is the 2022 shittiest character of the year. So I don't know what we'll call it, but
fair. We'll
figure something out. I think it could be a pretty fun idea. A tier fight club of losers. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's pretty much all I got for this week. So
yeah, me too. So make sure, again, reminding everybody, make sure if you want some of those covers for Hulk Grand Design, get those orders in soon so we can guarantee that you get a copy. And, if they go out, we'll try to find a way to get you some.
And if you miss Saga 55, we still have some in stock. Go get them. Also, shop at your other local comic shops, because some of you guys are not from around here, and that's totally cool. Yep. We support everybody. So, all right, cool. Catch you guys later.